What happens when a prominent U.S. senator clashes with one of daytime TV's biggest personalities? John Fetterman, the outspoken Democratic senator from Pennsylvania, has launched a legal battle against Sunny Hostin, the co-host of The View. This lawsuit has sent shockwaves through both the political and entertainment worlds, sparking debates about defamation, free speech, and media accountability. But what exactly happened? Why is Fetterman suing? And what does this mean for the future of public discourse? Stick around, because this story has twists, turns, and more than a little drama. Before we proceed, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more political news and media showdowns. Did you just subscribe? Awesome. Let's get into it. Let's rewind to where it all began. An episode of The View. Known for its fiery debates and unfiltered commentary, the show regularly tackles political hot topics. But during this particular episode, things took an unexpected turn when Sunny Hostin allegedly made remarks about Senator John Fetterman that he found defamatory and damaging. While the exact details of what was said remain under wraps due to ongoing legal proceedings, insiders suggest the comments implied misconduct or incompetence on Fetterman's part. For Fetterman, a public figure with a reputation for championing justice and equality, this was a step too far. What makes this lawsuit even more intriguing is Fetterman's claim that The View's producers allowed these comments to air unchecked, raising serious questions about accountability in media. With millions of viewers tuning in daily, the stakes are higher than ever.
They'll say that about the J6 people too, though, right? That's what they're going to say on the other side. That is weaponized also.
I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about the New York trial, and now the Democrats on our side there were some that were gleeful, calling it like now he's a convicted felon and those things, and now for our party we were talking about criminal justice, and we are now talking about second chances, and now all of a sudden now you're like, well, he's a convicted felon and all these things. And now clearly, again, both of those trials, the Hunter Biden one and the trial in New York for Trump, that was politically motivated, and those kinds of charges would have never been brought unless one side could realize that they could weaponize that.
Sunny Hostin, a lawyer turned TV host known for her candid and sharp opinions, is no stranger to controversy. But this time, her words may have crossed a line. Fetterman's legal team argues that Hostin's remarks were not only false, but reckless, with the potential to harm his career and reputation. In response, Hostin and The View have defended their right to engage in free and open discussions, citing the importance of lively debate in a democratic society. However, critics have pointed out that the line between opinion and defamation can sometimes blur, especially on platforms with such a large reach. For Fetterman, this isn't just about defending his name. It's about sending a message. In a world where misinformation can spread like wildfire, he believes media figures must be held accountable for the narratives they promote. This lawsuit is about more than just one episode of The View. It's a flashpoint in a larger cultural debate about free speech, defamation, and media ethics. Fetterman's legal team argues that while free speech is a cornerstone of democracy, it doesn't grant immunity from accountability. On the other hand, Hostin's defenders worry that this case could set a dangerous precedent, stifling open dialogue and making public figures hesitant to speak their minds.
They had a placebo group and they had a vaccine group because they wanted for military readiness to see if the flu shot was prophylactic against coronavirus. What they found is actually the people who got the flu shot were 36% more likely to get coronavirus. And that's not a lone study. We found 6 other major studies that say the same thing. If you get the flu shot, you're more likely to get coronavirus. Look, all you have to do, Alan, and this is what Cochrane said, is look what's happened to longevity in the elderly since we started mandating the flu shot to elderly people. Those are the people who their life expectancy has dramatically gone down as the flu shot proliferated. And if you see, the people who died during the COVID crisis.
Meanwhile, the public is divided. Supporters of Fetterman see his lawsuit as a brave stand against reckless media behavior, while critics accuse him of overreacting and using his political influence to intimidate. This case shines a spotlight on the responsibility of media platforms in today's fast-paced digital world. Shows like The View are incredibly influential, shaping public opinion and sparking conversations across the country. But with great power comes great responsibility. Or at least, that's what Fetterman's lawsuit suggests.
It is his son, after all, and people do have sympathy for that. But a lot of people are angry with him about it. What do you say?
Oh, well, I think it's undeniable that the case against Hunter Biden was really politically motivated, but I also think it's true that the trial in New York for Trump that was political as well too. Now it's that, and in both cases, I think a pardon is appropriate, and I really think collectively, America's confidence in these kinds of institutions have been damaged by these kinds of cases, and we cannot allow these kinds of institutions to be weaponized against our political opponents. And it's very clear both trials were politically motivated and weaponized that on the other side.
Should daytime talk shows be held to the same standards as traditional news outlets? Can they still engage in bold, unfiltered discussions without crossing the line into defamation? These are the questions at the heart of this legal battle.
In a new Netflix documentary series about New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, he said he's heartbroken about friends and family cutting him off for his controversial political views and conspiracy theories. And a lot of Americans can relate to this, especially after this last election. So, do you think it happens everywhere?
What I recall about him is when he was asked about the COVID-19 pandemic, during the height of the pandemic, when people had lost loved ones, when people's family members were missing from their Thanksgiving table, like my table, he said, "I'm immunized." And as it turns out, he was not. He had done his own research. He has his Google MD like I do. And I think he said he was allergic to something in the vaccine, but he had COVID and he was in a huddle with his teammates. And I think people felt like, wow, you don't care. You're not your brother's keeper.
This could really, this could really turn me against
a morality.
Are you telling?
The case also taps into a growing frustration with sensationalism in media. Many viewers feel that shows prioritize controversy over truth, creating a cycle of outrage that ultimately erodes trust in public discourse.
In a million years, I would not take the flu shot, and I'll tell you why, because this is what Cochrane and BMJ have found. People who take the flu shot are protected against that strain of flu. They're 4.4 times more likely to get a non-flu infection. And you might find, and a lot of people do, that they get the flu shot and then they get sick. They're usually not getting the flu. Are getting something that is indistinguishable from the flu, because the flu shot gives you something called pathogenic priming. It injures your immune system so that you're more likely to get a non-flu viral upper respiratory infection. In fact, the Pentagon published a story, and you can cite this, it's by Wolfe, W-O-L-F-E, in January of this year, in which they said that the flu shot not only primes you for flu, but it primes you for coronavirus.
As this legal battle unfolds, the stakes couldn't be higher. For John Fetterman, the lawsuit represents a fight for accountability and fairness. For Sunny Hostin and The View, it's a test of their right to engage in controversial conversations without fear of legal retaliation. Whatever the outcome, this case is likely to have far-reaching implications for media, politics, and the delicate balance between free speech and accountability. What's your take? Is Fetterman right to hold The View accountable, or does this lawsuit go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the drama. See you in the next one.